Class of 2020. For your baccalaureate speaker, you selected a man who is down to business, and I mean that literally. He is known for his sense of humor, with a hearty laugh that complements his heart of gold. He makes it a priority to go on Kairos each year, which shows his love of God and his love for you, his students. It is my great honor to introduce your baccalaureate speaker, Mr. Chris Tagler.
Father Merck, administration, faculty, staff, parents, students, and most importantly, the class of 2020, I thank you for this honor and opportunity. I'm certain this is the most unusual backmass address in the history of Providence, and I haven't even started yet. And I hope I don't make it worse. At any rate, I've been given about 10 minutes to speak to you, which is roughly the length of one of my lectures, so I better start moving. I'm kidding, administrators. My lectures are more like 15 minutes long, which is also a joke. But kidding aside, I feel so blessed to have one last opportunity to speak to our seniors. So, anything interesting going on? Getting serious now. We're living in a world that is changing rapidly by the minute. All of it has been uncomfortable, almost as if our country is going through growing pains. A lot of us have spent the last few months being scared, sad, possibly even angry. We are living in uncertain times where the vast majority of us are feeling a loss of control, a loss of independence, a loss of time, and a loss of security. And you, my beloved class of 2020, have felt loss more than anyone else in the Providence family. And if you haven't seen, heard, or felt it yet, the family grieves with you. You have all worked hard to get to a moment, only to have something out of our control take the moment away. And this, my friends, is where I get to the topic of my final lesson to you. It is times like these that faith and action come into play. If this is the first time that your life has felt out of control, consider yourself blessed. Given the looks of some of you over the past 4 years, especially when you're waiting for test grades, I'm doubting that. As someone who speaks from experience, as you grow older and take on more responsibilities, you will feel this loss of control again and again. Part of regaining some of that control lies in how you handle those times. You might want to get angry, and that's understandable. Anger, sadness, numbness, depression, all understandable. Nobody is immune to those emotions. I've felt them all just this month. But do any of those bring hope that there's a light at the end of the tunnel? In my experience, no. The only things in my life that have brought me through times of helplessness is faith and action. The world that we live in right now is so cynical. This shouldn't be the norm. So many people are distrusting of one another, assigning blame, acting in their own self-interests instead of acting for the common good. This should not be the norm. What I'd like to say to you is this: don't let it be the norm. Have faith in people. Realize that there are good, honest people that care about you. Believe in them. Fred Rogers said, and I'm sure you've already heard this quote, but I love Mr. Rogers and his words are so true. Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. Focus your sights and your attention on the helpers, the good people. Those are the people that you can rely on, that you can lean on, that you can talk to. This could be a parent, a teacher, a friend, a priest, anyone you trust. Those are people that you can have faith in, that you can trust will do what's right. God is also one of those people. God is someone who, when you think nobody else can help, that no one else cares, can help. I know that faith is a tough thing to have, especially when times are rough. I've doubted numerous times that anyone could help me, but that's where the payoff lies. I'm a firm believer in that you get out what you put in. Here's a quick example. Now, Now, most of you know that my wife and I adopted our daughter Catherine in 2018. But what a lot of you might not know is that the road that my wife and I took to start a family took 10 years. There wasn't a lot of hope down that road. In fact, we were derailed many times. There was a lot of disappointment and a lot of despair. Being told that something you took for granted was going to happen and probably wasn't was devastating. Sound familiar? It took me a long time to learn, but I eventually got to the point where I just ran out of hope, but I ran into faith. I had a conversation with God when I was alone and just told him, it's all yours. I quit worrying about what we were doing wrong, and I just had faith that God would help. A couple of weeks later, we received an email from our adoption agency about a baby girl that was at their nursery. That baby girl is now our baby girl. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in God, and I believe in providence. There's a double meaning there. God delivered Catherine to us, and I am eternally grateful to him. So why do I share this? Some of you have told me that once you were told that we weren't returning to school, that many of those senior events would be in jeopardy, you gave up hope. And yes, things won't go the way they were planned, just like my journey to become a dad. But one thing I've learned through faith is that just because you don't get what you expect, it doesn't mean you won't get something better down the road. And it's my sincere hope that happens to each and every one of you. The events of the past few weeks, the anger, the fear, the injustice, all add to the feelings we've had since the beginning of the pandemic. We're inclined to protect ourselves, stay in the house more, hope that things just run their course. I've felt those same feelings since March. Regardless of your feelings of what's been happening, it's led me to ask myself, is hoping trouble just goes away enough? If what we're experiencing in our country is in fact growing pains, do you just lay in bed and wait it out? During the pandemic, we've learned, I hope, that we have to look out for our loved ones as well as our neighbors. It's the Christian thing to do. We need to keep doing that. I've told my baseball kids numerous times, as well as some of you in class, that talk is cheap. When faced with adversity, what do you do? When you see someone else that is hurting, what do you do? Do you keep walking, say nothing? Or do you help that person? Give some words of encouragement. Do something positive. Isn't that the Christian way? Better yet, isn't it the providence way? I've seen so many acts of kindness over the past 4 years while you've been here at school, from the kind words to someone who's down, from the acts of people when your fellow Celtic feels a loss, from the hundreds of Post-its in the girls' bathroom that I only heard about because, that would be creepy otherwise. But you get what I'm talking about. Saying you'll help is one thing. Actually helping is another. Some of your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your fellow sisters and brothers in Christ are hurting, be it from the pandemic or the injustice in our world. Can we spread some providence love to those who have never experienced it? So I guess what I'm saying in my own convoluted way is that we can't just use words, we need to act. We're all affected now by everything that has happened in 2020, and we're all in this together. But if we want to prevent another 2020 from happening, things need to improve. We need to improve. Our society needs to improve. We need to step up our game. We need to help. More we type thinking, less me. Listen, don't dismiss. Base your decisions and actions not on a political party's policies or some questionable social media source. Base them on God's policies. Because regardless of your personal beliefs, if you believe in God, be a helper. And if you've learned anything from being here at Providence, be a helper. You, the class of 2020, have tremendous potential. I've seen it every day. You will go out and you will forge your own futures despite what's going on in the world. You will make the world better with you in it. If we have faith, if we decide and act as Christians, as Celtics, your payoff will be tremendous. I know that. I feel it. Now, before I finish, I want to say one more thing to you, the senior class. I've thought about you every day. I've prayed for better days for you. I miss you. I miss you. We miss you. We love you. Not getting the chance to say the traditional goodbye pains all of us at Providence, and for me, it's no exception. However, I know that one day, hopefully soon, we'll have that last hug, that last goodbye with those who have helped shape and have led Providence this year. You have accomplished great things over the last 4 years. Now, it's your time to be even greater. I love you. I'll miss you. All of you. And may God be with you always.